the universe extended indisputably, empowering out and out more first-rate length. After this period, it persevered to develop, however, at a more languid expense in the quit, changing over into the universe we concentrate on as of late. That is the inflationary hypothesis of the collectible cosmic impact, the most prominent and generally saw speculation of how the universe began. Anyway, for a couple of physicists, this head theory does no longer precisely painting the development of our universe. They recommended that the universe existed before that thing, stretching out endlessly into the past as well as into the future. Even as the universe is expanding these days, it became contracting ahead of time than the enormous detonation. In this view, the enormous detonation isn't really a bang, as a jump a second, even as the contracting universe exchanged ways and headed out to make once more. As laid out through their hypothesis, the universe might have to sidestep with proceeded with improvement, likely dissuaded by a breakdown inside the some distance future, then another leap. A few physicists proposed the S may be endless. This horrible conditions the standard cosmological view, in which the entire matter initiated with a huge bang. The first-class physicist Brian Cox also difficult circumstances the hypothesis of how things arrive to advance that something can't rise out of nothing, adding to the stress. The James Webb Telescope has made alarming disclosures conflicting with the idea that the enormous detonation might be thought about the start of the universe. These discoveries convey up the inquiry. If the huge explosion wasn't the start of the universe, then what was? Should the universe in the long run start with a detour or something most certainly unmistakable? The idea that the universe had a start or an evening with no yesterday, as it become initially analyzed, gets back to George Lemaître in 1927. Simultaneously, it's far a less than ideal circumstance to show that the universe probably had a starting. That length of cosmic history has barely anything to do with the hot broad bang that portrayed our basic universe. However, exceptional area subject matter experts or even a minority of experts regardless of the reality that live with conviction that the enormous bang denotes the earliest reference point of all. That all matters considered the definition is out of the huge explosion isn't the introduction of life as we may be mindful of these days. In truth, there may furthermore be a ton of proof highlighting a non-singular start of our universe. We never showed up at those ends dependent generally upon no prominent endo or over-the-top temperatures. Our universe is great characterized by means of an inflationary length that occurred previously the huge explosion. The enormous detonation is the stop final product of what passed off inside the bearing of the culmination of progress during improvement. The universe altered into most certainly void, no garbage independent of no photons, simply void region. Space itself became loaded with a gigantic amount of strength at each spot. This power changed after some time, reaching out in a fast furthermore resolved design. Because the universe delayed, those adjustments relaxed to monstrous augmentations while new bound scale adjustments have been made to zenith them. This superposition of insecurities all through scales is a portraying component of cosmological expansion. It's for inconsistent reasons not purposeful. In the event that you lived in an expanding universe, you may potentially find close by locales where an expansion arrived at an end, or the region among you what's more, them delayed persistently. In short, you could attempt to acquire what takes place nearer to the start of a huge effect before that area disappeared practically from view. It incorporates a little neighborhood locale taking all things together probability, no more prominent standard size than a human incredible hamster ball, anyway likely impressively bigger. The power capability of area then, at that point, gets changed over into be counted furthermore radiation. This change happens quickly, taking structure rapidly yet not promptly, in light of the fact that the energy shut up itself changes over into flotsam and jetsam, photons, and more. The temperature fast expands from only a couple of degrees above outright Z to maybe around 20 Kelvin. Throughout the indistinguishable fast time period due to the enormous level of energy adjusted, all that activities near the speed of gentle. All particles go about as radiation with colossal strength, whether massless or gigantic. This change is called warming, denoting the finish of progress what's more, the beginning of the degree alluded to as the new enormous bang. As progress continues, you'll witness a colossal substitute from all past circumstances. While the current enormous detonation starts, the expanding universe fast dials back after the secret picture of progress in an inflationary universe. Spot expands absolutely, with more prominent and expanded way away regions strolling ceaselessly. Even as progress closes, and the new enormous bang gets going, advanced more, farther areas will subside from you to an always developing certificate continuously as time advances. The piece of the universe in which improvement closes sees the augmentation cost drop, while the expanding regions encompassing it see no such drop. Under augmentation, the space to any object should twofold after a particular length, and while that equivalent measure of time slips by, that distance duplicates once more endlessly. Once the huge explosion begins, this alterations, since the expanding universe eases back down after the underlying second of improvement. Before the enormous detonation, you may experience improvement clearing off with adjoining regions. Those regions wherein improvement closures will load up with antimatter and radiation and make greater, more leisurely than the as-yet creating locales, leaving you in the expanding neighborhood as a standard organization within spacetime. Those areas in which intensity enormous bangs get up arise as far away from elite places where improvement keeps. Because of this, they'll expediently subside from one another's view inside the standard inflationary picture. Because of this, the improvement charge changes. There may be little gamble that any universes with separate warm huge bangs will of all time cooperate. The area where we come to live gets rather fortunate, and development arrives at an end. For us, the power normal for space itself gets changed over to an intensity-thick and nearly uniform expanse of particles with the number 1 blemish. Furthermore, takeoffs from consistency concerning the quantum changes that existed and were relaxed across the universe faster or later of advancement. The high-quality energy quantum vacillations compare at first to overdense regions, while the awful energy vacillations get altered over into most importantly underdense districts. Those include as the seeds of huge structures. We can't see those thickness vacillations lately as they had been even as the universe most importantly went by means of the intensity huge explosion. There are not any noticeable engravings we can get admission to from that early span. The principal recognizable engraving comes from something like 380,000 years after the fact subsequent to going through extraordinary affiliations. In spite of the fact that we can extrapolate back to figure out the underlying thickness vacillations, tracking down something predictable with the story of cosmic improvement. The temperature vacillations are engraved inside the inestimable microwave record CMB, introducing proof of how the enormous detonation began. Yet, there are different irregularities most of the CMB and our cutting-edge form of cosmology. We're missing something, and individuals can be summed up in 4 irregularities. First, on chiefly tremendous scales, the universe isn't generally acting as anticipated. The light from the CMB is being lensed by means of our Among Us and the CMB. That implies depend behaves like an enormous focal point, bowing and changing over the plentifulness of the gentle in the return of it. The volume of this lensing isn't continuously predictable with our bleeding edge model, addressing a high-quality mission for cosmology. Besides, the different sides of the equator of the CMB sky have one-of-a-kind normal temperatures, clashing with the assumption for consistency inside the universe's earliest degree. The possibility that the universe should have begun dependably results in various irregularities. Third, the expense of the Hubble consistent, which depicts how fast the universe is extending, changes contingent on whether we degree it from the astronomical microwave noteworthy past CMB or from neighboring stars. All in all, those abnormalities propose we are inadequate with regards to something fundamental by the way we decipher the universe. One proposed arrangement comes from circle quantum cosmology, which starts from circle quantum gravity. On this structure, gravity itself is made up of particles alluded to as quant, shaping the texture of life. In circle quantum cosmology, there's a littlest size of spot, the Board scale, or 1.0 x 10^35 m. This approach implies the enormous bang couldn't exist in a universe depicted through this rule. As an alternative, the universe should by no implies come to a limitlessly little dense issue close to the huge explosion in circle quantum cosmology. While the universe became tiny, quantum rectifications anticipated a frightful strain causing a leap on the other hand of a peculiarity. This shows that our universe might have begun from a first universe that contracted, after which broadened all over again, similar to a phoenix rising from the cinders. While the idea of an enormous skip isn't absolutely new all the time, circle quantum cosmology gives a numerical structure to help its cyclic time. Very much like the possibility of a grandiose jump is moreover situated in Hindu cosmology, including in basically the same manner weight to this thought. If circle quantum cosmology is right, the early universe may have had a gentle energy and thickness. This present circumstance ought to alter the CMB, showing up as gentle varieties in temperature all through the sky. These varieties, measured through the quality energy range, ought to offer enormous proof of the universe's establishment. Furthermore, guide the chance of a leap. Ordinary circle quantum cosmology offers a convincing and open door to the ultramodern huge explosion variant, possibly settling a portion of the drawn-out status irregularities in cosmology and providing bits of knowledge into the beginnings of the universe. It besides gives a promising reason for the third anomaly, the disparity in normal temperatures among the two halves of the globe of the CMB sky. The design gave with the guide of method of circle quantum cosmology tends to the fundamental oddities situated in the CMB be the surprising way of behaving at huge scopes and the lensing impact. In sync with Dr. Venet Goind of the Public Organization of High-Level Examinations, the open door that those anomalies are not simply length blunders yet start from quantum gravity results right off the bat in the universe is a remarkable thought. That the universe started out in a vast leap has been proposed previously, yet its insistence requires further exploration. Vast fluctuation represents an endeavor in this view as our perceptions might be restricted to specific parts of the universe, confounding our insight. Specialist Dwayne Johnson, a co-essayist of A Giant Look At and a teacher at Penn Realm College, features the difficulty in approving such speculations because of the large scale. However, the incorporation of late open doors like circle quantum cosmology and its ramifications protect guarantee in settling novel cosmological issues. Notwithstanding these updates, a gigantic inquiry remains. Did the universe have a start by any means? Defenders of the universe having a starting demand that it did, however, this brings up issues about the nature of the occasion that started out everything. On the other hand, cyclic cosmology proposes an everlasting universe, constantly present approach. Grandiose bobs. However, physicist William Kenny of the school at Bison recognizes the fundamental blemish in this idea. Entropy, the level of illness in a device, increments with each infinite jump. This entropy increment infers a starting like a huge explosion, clashing with the idea of an everlasting universe. While new cyclic styles attempt an arrangement with this issue by utilizing way of comprehensive of sweeping reaches between bobs to burn up entropy, Kenny's research suggests that the universe presumably had a totally special starting. Kenny's discoveries highlight the preceded with banter over cyclic universes, inciting an expansion examination concerning their attainability. Defenders of cyclic universes have not started to totally manage this analysis. The clinical impart roughly this subject matter keeps to advance, pushed with the help of the mission to choose the universe's beginnings and its last destiny. Quantum cosmology and cyclic styles, which prescribe various components to adapt to peculiarities, have started interest among cosmologists. Nelson dos Santos of the Brazilian countrywide establishment for region concentrates on who has dove into bobbing and cyclic models, takes note of that while circle quantum cosmology bobs manage CMB oddities, they may not be valuable. Still, he stays sure in the chance of a cyclic universe. With regards to Nelson, the ways of life of the universe are valuable. Making a cyclic universe typically present appears more prominent conceivable than one made at a specific moment. As a researcher, he stays open to investigating both open doors. While the start of our universe remains a mystery, there has been intense discourse about its conclusive future. The eventual fate of the universe is predicated upon its synthesis, which comprises of includes darkish energy. Furthermore, depend deciding its destiny. Fundamentally, there are two generally significant circumstances: endless development or withdrawal. In one circumstance, the universe extends endlessly with stars at last arduous their gas, leaving toward the rear of heavenly leftovers like white diminutive people and dark openings. However, the destiny of the universe depends upon the character of dark power, a baffling tension utilizing the universe's blast. Assuming dull power stays consistent, the universe extension rushes to a crisp, dull, enormous freeze, as consider scatters and entropy will increment. As another option, assuming there is adequate recall, the universe's increment may also continuous and inverse into withdrawal. This situation leads to the possibility of a cyclic universe model wherein the universe undergoes patterns of development and compression, never achieving endless thickness or a particular starting. Each cycle marks the start of another age of presence, providing a more prominent consoling outlook when contrasted with a cold, dim death toll. No matter what the universe's destiny, our attendance at this explicit moment is amazing. It shows our one-of-a-kind capability in the universe and the fundamental element of information in contemplating the universe's boundlessness. Furthermore, its inescapable reality. As we mull over the universe's nature, we are constrained to bear in contemplations the method for our reality and the fast nature of time itself. Thank you for observing this episode. Your aid drives us to convey high-quality content texture, and we appreciate your remarks on ultramodern subjects. Live tuned for future episodes through buying in and spreading the expression until the resulting time. Continue to investigate the secrets of the universe.